In the quiet moments, that's where I'll find a little room to breathe, leave it all behind. Give me room to breathe, I need some time to heal my heart, to clear my mind. Gonna love myself, yeah, I believe in the power of me. Just give me room to breathe.
Great new day to all my self-care family and friends. Welcome back to another Room to Breathe podcast. I am your host, Life Coach 614, and I am so happy that you made space to be here with us today. Now, before we get into today's episode, do me a quick favor. If you're feeling the vibes, go ahead and show us some love. Tap the screen, like, comment, but most importantly, be sure to share this out with someone who may need a little healing energy today. And if this is your first time here or you haven't already done so, go ahead and hit that follow button. Subscribe to our channel so that way you're always tapped in when a new episode drops. I also want to personally invite you to check out our digital home at theselfcareclub.org, where you will find everything from affirmative apparel to motivational merch, as well as a ton of free resources to help nourish your growth and remind you that you are supported every step of the way. Just know that you don't have to do this alone. We are healing in community, growing one breath, one moment, one day at a time. So today, I encourage you to give yourself permission to pause, to reflect, to make space for peace, for growth, but most importantly for you. And remember, if anything in today's episode hits home, I want you to drop a green heart in the chat. It is our community's way of saying that I'm healing, I'm growing, and I'm showing up for me. Now, let's get ready to breathe, reflect, and grow together. I want to take a moment just to welcome everybody into the room, you guys, even the people on the outside. Come on in, right? Don't stand on the outside holding your breath like you wasn't invited. We've invited you into our space. And shout out to everybody who made it on time, right? I love you guys for your consistency. We gonna still show love to the people who show up late, y'all. All right, because we still love them for choosing themselves. So, whatever they arrive is the perfect timing, right? Mars said early, I was here, right? First in the room. But listen, like I said, for those people who are peeking in the window, trying to decide if they belong here, I want you to just stop hiding. Come on in. We peaceful people, y'all. You can talk to us. All right. Ain't nobody in here judging you, clocking you, or keeping score. Right? This ain't no who healed the most type of competition. All right. It's not about looking perfect on the outside, or don't come in at all. Just come on in. This space is our self-care sanctuary. It is our safe space where your humanity is welcome, right? Your tears, your truth, your mistakes, your questions, your mess, your miracles. Listen, all of it gets room to breathe in here. So come on in, right? So listen, I know that some of you already feel your chest loosening just hearing the word welcome, right? Because over the years, like when you've gotten so used to being strong, used to holding everybody else together, or even used to being like that solid friend or the dependable sister, right? The steady one, the strong one. Nobody ever asks you, if you needed somewhere to fall apart. And so this room is that somewhere. This is where you get to let your shoulders drop, where you can, unclench your jaw and finally just inhale without bracing for the next thing that life might throw at you. This virtual room, right? This moment, this breath, it's yours. So again, we welcome you in. I invite you to come in, take a seat, take a breath deep enough to remind your soul that it's safe. Right? Because that's what it's all about. That safety that we didn't have before, that we do have now. And so today we're talking about something real, right? Something that has been tugging at my spirit, but also something that keeps showing up in my sessions, my DMs, um, just all my conversations, and even my personal reflections. We're going to talk about the difference between friendship and customer service. Too many of us are out here, giving full time, premium, 5-star, emotionally intelligent, spiritually grounded, therapist level support to people who barely give us a let me call you back. All right. And so we're going to unpack that today, all of it. But before we go there, I need y'all to get comfortable. I need you to soften a little, right? Allow yourself to just be human in this moment. Because today I think we just need to really breathe through this truth. And we need to heal together with honesty, right? If we're going to break free from the patterns that were never ours to carry, we have to be comfortable. I'm trying to say, let's go. Listen, you already know where this is headed, sis, for real. All right, so let's just get into it, y'all. Let's talk about the importance of stop allowing people to treat you like you work here, right? Because some of y'all been running a whole emotional business out of your heart, and you didn't even realize that you've never signed a lease. So, let's call it what it is. You've been clocking into a job that you ain't getting paid for. And the wild part is, you show up every shift, you show up sick, you show up tired, you show up heartbroken, you show up broke, you show up overwhelmed, you show up even when your soul is whispering, we don't have it today. Just because somebody texts you, hey, you got a minute? And suddenly you go from being in your healing to being in somebody else's crisis again. So today, I just want to tell you that you don't work here. And stop letting people treat you like you do, right? There's this customer service discount that you keep giving away, right? And there's a pattern that many of us have carried since childhood, right? Many of us over the years have been known as the fixer, the mediator, the peacekeeper, the strong one, the one who gets it, the one who never complains, or the one who knows how to handle things. So emotionally needy people flock to you because you got a giant neon sign that says 24/7 support available. No appointments needed. And the truth is, you train them. Not on purpose, but out of survival. Because, once upon a time, caring felt useful. Being needed made you feel valued. Solving things made you feel powerful, right? Giving to people made you feel safe. Pouring made you feel connected. But here's the plot twist that your healing is revealing. What they call love is actually labor. And you've been laboring like like your salary depends on it, right? When what you really have is these drive-through friends. And I know you know what that feels like. It's like, have you ever worked a customer service job where somebody pulls up to the window with no hello, no respect, no patience, no eye contact, no gratitude, just full out demand, right? And that's how some of your friends are treating you. They simply call with, girl, I need to vent. Can you talk real quick? I'm losing my mind. You got a second? I need your opinion. Or let me tell you what happened. No check-in, no, hey sis, how you doing? No emotional awareness, just serve me, right? Meanwhile, you need something. What's up, Lady Blue? Right? You need something. It's, damn, I missed your call, or my bad, I've been busy, or I didn't get to see your message. I meant to check on you, or I'm going through it too. They don't they don't check on the service desk. They just walk right past it, right? Because they believe that your whole mission is to serve, right? You've become the unpaid manager, right? And the part that stings the most is a lot of you aren't just doing customer service for these people, you're doing management. You're de-escalating their emotions, translating their feelings, reminding them of their worth, helping them regulate, supporting their healing, guiding them spiritually, soothing their insecurities, giving them clarity, validating their experiences. Meanwhile, who's doing that for you? Who's doing that for you? You're giving manager level love to people who are giving minimum wage effort. And so, then it's like all of a sudden there's an audacity that we tap into, right? The audacity of audits, right? Because if all of that isn't enough, if the care that you've provided is not enough, those same people who drain you will still find the nerve to complain. Because, over the years, they've grown to expect immediate responses from you, constant availability, unconditional empathy, right? They want unlimited patience. And if you're tired one day, or if you don't respond fast enough, or if you miss a call, suddenly you're the villain, right? You're the bad guy, right? And so one of the things that we have to learn is that customers file complaints, but friends communicate concern. And so we have to be able to know the difference, right? Because at the end of the day, you don't owe anybody that much access to you. Care is a gift. Access is a privilege. And so at some point we have to understand that our presence is not a service. Our presence is a gift. You don't owe people instant answers, emotional capacity, constant understanding, endless forgiveness, right? You don't owe them the strongest version of you, the healed version of you, or the available version of you. At the end of the day, you get to be human. You get to have limits. You get rest, right? You get to not feel like it. Period. Like, no further explanation needed. You get to be unavailable, and you get to choose you without guilt. So, sis, it's time to clock out for real. And not that you need it, but again, use this as your permission slip to clock out of roles that you were never being paid for, to clock out of friendships that feel like employment, clock out of emotional jobs that you did not apply for, clock out of being the strong one for people who wouldn't even lift a finger for you. You don't work here. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not mentally, not anymore. And the moment you stop showing up like you do, watch how quick the room empties. And I want you to understand that when that room empties, that's not a loss. That's just clarity, right? That's everything that you didn't know you needed. Because a friendship should not feel like a shift, right? It should not feel like a shift that you didn't sign up for. A friendship should never feel like a job. But far too many of us have been moving through relationships like we're on somebody's payroll, right? We've been on the schedule for people who never once asked if we were even available. Some of us wake up early carrying the weight of who needs me today, right? Who do I have to fix? Who's falling apart that I'm expected to hold together? Who's mad at me for not answering them fast enough? And so suddenly that friendship starts feeling less like a connection and more like an emotional responsibility. And somewhere on the inside, we start believing that That's normal, right? But the truth is, you've been treating friendships like contracts that they didn't sign while they treat you like free customer service. Girl, girl, okay? A real friendship should feel like ease, reciprocity, softness, breathing room, joy, and safety. But some of the connections that you've been trying to keep alive have turned into pressure or guilt or obligation. Thank you. Off the bench. Welcome in. Right? It's like all of a sudden it feels like anxiety and emotional bookkeeping, right? All the heavy lifting. And that's not love, that's labor. And when you're doing 80%, 90%, hell, some of y'all are doing 100% of the emotional work while calling it friendship. Of course you feel tired, right? You feel tired and invisible and resentful and even guilty, right? You're overwhelmed because you're over functioning. And so let's be honest. If you have to prepare for someone before you talk to them, that is not compatibility, that is survival. If a friendship requires rehearsing text, filtering your truth, managing their triggers, or bracing yourself for their reactions, you are not relating to a friend, you are performing for one. When being around someone makes you shrink, silence yourself, or get into character to keep the peace, you're not in a friendship. You're in a role that you never auditioned for. Some of your friendships feel like toxic job shifts, right? You never know what mood they're in. You're constantly cleaning up, emotional messes. You're always de-escalating something. And you're always the calm one, right? The understanding one, the bigger person, or the one to apologize first. Meanwhile, they show up whenever they feel like it with all the inconsistency and projections and irritations and entitlements, and you're expected to just take it in the name of loyalty. Mr. Jackson, welcome in, bro. And, here's the painful truth, I believe. If you can't be honest with someone, you don't have a friend. You have a fragile ego that you've been tiptoeing around. If you can't tell someone that hurt my feelings and I didn't like that, or I need space, or I can't show up today without them getting defensive or distant or angry or feeling victimized or even dismissive, that's not safe. Because friendship shouldn't require fear or hesitation. It shouldn't require these emotional acrobatics, right? Or shrinking yourself to just keep the peace. You should be able to show up flawed and tired and frustrated and healing and confused and still feel love. Welcome in, KL. And I also want to make sure that I'm talking to the strong ones today, right? The men and women known for being the anchor, the forgiver, the nurturer, the healer, right? Because when you're the strong one, people love you for your wisdom and your advice and your emotional intelligence, your stability, your discernment. But they forget that you weren't meant to carry their weight instead of your own. You deserve friendships where you can fall apart, where you can be held, where you can be human without being punished for it. Being the strong one should not be a life sentence. Your kindness shouldn't be exploited. Your heart shouldn't be treated like a workplace. At the end of the day, friendship should feel like rest, not a role that you perform for someone else's convenience. It should be a sanctuary, not a shift, a soft landing place, not a burden. It's supposed to be a mutual exchange, not a silent sacrifice. If someone has turned your friendship into a job or a duty or a service, right? They're not looking for a partnership. They're looking for a caretaker. And you're no longer caretaking grown people who won't even take responsibility for their own emotional lives. Hey, Devin. Each and every one of you deserve friendships that allow you to breathe, not break. You deserve connections that restore you, not drain you. Thank you, Kale. And you deserve friendships that value your humanity, not your labor. So I'm going to say this with all the love I can. Stop being everyone's safe space when they aren't safe for you. There literally comes a moment in everybody's healing journey where you finally look around and realize that you've been the safe space for people who were never safe for you. And when you realize that, it just hits different. Because for years, you've been the friend that holds secrets, protects reputations, listens without judgment, shows compassion even when exhausted, and creates emotional shelter for people who show up, like your FEMA, right? Offering disaster relief for their chaos. But when the storm hits your life, suddenly the people that you covered during their hurricanes disappear the first sign of your rainfall. The same folks who ran to your soul for comfort can't even handle a drop of your vulnerability. And so the truth is, not everybody you protect can be trusted with your pain. Okay? You said, let me get my journal out. I got Shonda hollering, Kale ready to journal. I'm serious, y'all. It's like some people only come to you when they want to feel better, but never when they want to make you feel seen. It's like people love the version of you that is stable and wise and calm and grounded and available. They love the you that's strong enough to hold their breakdowns, but too much when you finally have one of your own. They love the you that listens because that's what they need you for that, right? You are supplying a need for them, but they don't want the you that needs to be listened to. And this is where the imbalance becomes spiritual, because being a safe space is sacred, but being used as a safe space is soul depleting. You deserve to hear this out loud. Some people don't love you. They love how you love them. There's a difference, a deep difference. I'm going to say it again. Some people don't love you. They love how you love them. And it shows. Every single time that you attempt to open up about your own hurt, you can tell that they're uncomfortable. They rush you. They redirect. They go silent. They minimize, right? They turn your vulnerability into an inconvenience. And, it's because they were never emotionally invested in you, just in the comfort that your presence provides them. Welcome in, Darlene. And, let's talk about the danger in being drawn to people who only know how to take, right? When you become somebody's safe space, but they never learned how, to be emotionally accountable. So they start using you like an emotional detox, right? Showing up, dumping everything on your spirit, then walking away lighter when you're left carrying the weight that they refuse to even confront. It's important for you to understand that you weren't created to be anybody's dumping ground. You weren't made to store trauma that isn't yours. You weren't designed to break under burdens that you didn't create. But somewhere along the lines, thank you, welcome in, Vegan Healer. Somewhere along the lines, you became conditioned to hold it all together because you're the strong one, right? The wise one, the grounded one, the friend with the big heart and even bigger capacity. And while that's admirable, right, it's not sustainable. Because being the strong one shouldn't mean being drained. Being compassionate shouldn't mean being depleted. Being a healer shouldn't require self-sacrifice. So you deserve relationships that pour back into you with intention, not just gratitude. You deserve connections that feel reciprocal, right? Sis said, woo, she just got in here and she already shouting, y'all. She don't know what she missed. Don't worry, I got more. Because the part that we don't like to admit is that sometimes we're overgiving. And so as an overgiver, we attract undergivers. Not because we're weak, but because we're nurturing, right? And the nurturing hearts often forget that discernment is a part of love. You cannot keep building emotional safety for people who crumble the moment that you need them to be a space for you. You can't keep internalizing their chaos while you're downplaying your own. You can't keep carrying people who would watch you drown. And you definitely can't keep calling it love when it's really just emotional convenience. You owe it to yourself, to your spirit, your peace, your healing, to stop offering sanctuary for people who only create storms. Stop letting people sit in your presence like it's shelter when they've never even offered you a dry place to stand. Stop pouring into people who couldn't even handle a single drop of your truth. And stop believing that vulnerability makes you a burden. It doesn't. It just makes you human. And any friendship that can't hold your humanity is not a friendship. It is a liability. You are a safe space, yes. But you deserve to be a safe space with someone, not just useful to someone. You deserve friends who ask about you first, not after. Right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Those people who call and they just dump on you and be like, oh, enough about me. How you doing? Like you the afterthought. You deserve people who see your silence as a signal, not a coincidence. You deserve reciprocity and softness and emotional maturity. You deserve to feel protected, not just protective, right? Welcome in, Danny. So here's the healing truth. Your safe space that you have created should also be safe for you. It should not be conditional, not inconsistent, not convenient, just safe, period. And if somebody can't meet you there, then they don't deserve the sanctuary of your soul. They don't deserve to be a part of your safe space. And as we know, when we're healing, some friendships expire, right? Some relationships just kind of disappear. They fade out. And this is the truth that most people won't say out loud. Healing will cost you people. You thought you'd be, people that you thought would be in your life forever. And it's not because you're better than them. It's not because you think you've outgrown them. It's because the version of you that held those friendships together no longer exists. Welcome in the center 413. See, when you start healing, you stop tolerating certain behaviors. You stop engaging in the same dysfunction. You stop being available for the chaos you used to normalize. You stop abandoning yourself to keep the peace, and you stop making excuses for people who treat you carelessly. Thank you. And you know what? That shift alone will disrupt every relationship that's built on your old patterns. The more that you evolve, the more that you'll notice who only liked the unhealed you. The version of you that overextended, overgave, overlooked, overexplained, right? The one who over apologized for everything. And so some people connected with you through your brokenness because you made it easy, right? Easy to access, easy to manipulate. It was easy for them to rely on you, or even easier for them to take you for granted. But this healed version of you, she's not as convenient, right? He has boundaries now. We're self-aware now. We're learning to listen to our intuition now. And so now this healed version of you protects their peace. And that threatens people who only benefited from the version of you who didn't know your worth. Healing forces you to pay attention to the things that you used to ignore. Oh yeah, baby, she ain't going for it no more. Right? And so now that you're paying attention to all the signs that you used to ignore, that's where the friendships start to crack. You begin to notice the friends who never celebrate you unless you're, unless they're doing better than you, right? The ones who only call you when they need something but disappear when you're drowning. The ones who gossip the more you grow, or the ones who get uncomfortable when you talk about self-love and accountability and therapy and boundaries, right? They get nervous. They get quiet as a little church mouse then. Or what about the ones who accuse you of acting brand new just because you refuse to be their emotional crutch, right? You've decided that you're no longer their entertainment. And so what they call you switched up is actually you woke up, right? So it's important for us to understand that some friendships don't survive your healing because they were built on your wounds. And now that you've addressed them, there's nothing for them to stand on, right? And we have to understand that that's not betrayal, that is evolution. When you grow, you break patterns. And those patterns were the very glue that was holding someone, some of these relationships close to you. When your love for yourself starts to deepen, hey CC, right? Your tolerance for mistreatment decreases. The more you start to love yourself, right? Then all of a sudden, you're no longer allowing people to mistreat you, mishandle you. Welcome in, Brooks. And that alone eliminates relationships that were never mutual to begin with. But the loneliness that comes with this part can be frightening, right? Because as you're healing, welcome in, Nicole. As you're healing, you start to feel disconnected. You start questioning if you're the problem, right? We want to know, is it me? Am I the problem? You start wondering, maybe I'm being too much, too sensitive, too strict, too distant. But I want you to hear me when I say you're not being too anything. You're just no longer willing to abandon yourself for relationships and friendships that require you to dim your light to stay accepted. You're no longer willing to sacrifice your peace to keep someone else comfortable. And that is growth. So we need to normalize talking about how healing changes your emotional appetite, right? The things that used to taste sweet, the drama bonding, the trauma conversations, the venting marathons, the gossip sessions, the fake support, and the conditional love, all those things used to taste sweet. Now they start tasting a bit bitter. You realize that you can't breathe in environments that feed off of negativity. You can't flourish in circles that worship dysfunction. You can't grow in friendships that never matured emotionally. So your spirit starts rejecting what used to be familiar. And that's a sign that you're outgrowing not just a friendship, but who you used to be within that friendship. Some of the people that you lose during your healing were never meant to stay long term. They were simply chapters, not the whole book, right? Lessons, not lifelines. And the moment that you stop clinging to what's expired, you make space for relationships that actually fit the healed you. People who reciprocate, people who show up for you, people who love you in ways that don't require you to abandon yourself, people who feel like alignment, not obligation. So if you're in a season where your circle is starting to look smaller, where connections feel distant, where the support system you thought you had has suddenly dissolved, I just want you to breathe through it. I want to remind you that you're not being punished. You're being positioned. You are being purified. You're being prepared. See, healing doesn't shrink your life. It clears it. It removes what can't meet you where you're going. It disconnects you from relationships that were never safe, never reciprocal, or even rooted in genuine love. So losing people is not the loss. Losing yourself was. And now you're getting you back. So it's not a loss. You're actually gaining you in the process. And let's talk about the friendship that we don't address enough, right? The ones, hey Jay, the ones that are built on convenience, not connection. The friends who love being around you when you're shining and laughing and glowing and pouring out all the good energy, but vanish the moment life hits you in a way that strips your smile from your face. These are the friends who show up when the vibe is high, but disappear when reality hits heavy. And the painful truth is, some people only know how to love you when you're easy, right? They know how to celebrate you, but not how to support you. It's like they want the highlight reel, but they can't handle the behind the scenes. You ever notice how the moment that you're the one going through something, or the moment that your heart starts cracking, or your spirit gets tired and your anxiety flares up, your world gets dark and their energy shifts? Suddenly they're busy. They're distancing. They're not sure really what to say. But the truth is, they really just don't want to be bothered with the version of you that requires their help. They're not uncomfortable because you're struggling. They're uncomfortable because now the attention isn't on them. And that, to me, that realization hurts the most. Because you thought y'all had a bond. You thought the connection was genuine. You thought they loved you, not just the parts of you that made them feel good. But What you really had was a lifestyle partnership, right? Because they loved your presence and they loved what your presence did for their world, but not what your heart needed. They were there for the brunch vibes, the selfies, the events, the turn up nights, right? The let's get cute and be outside moments. But when it was time for the quiet, the grief, the healing, the tears, the truth, they had nothing to offer you but distance. And you didn't recognize it at first because you're the strong friend, the fun friend, the wise friend, the creative friend, the one who makes any room feel better just by walking into it. And so people get addicted to that energy. They get used to the warmth of your presence without even asking themselves how cold your world feels when you walk away. And sometimes while you're giving them sunshine, you're standing in the rain alone. Some people simply bond with your strength, not your soul. Some people enjoy your joy, not your journey. Some people simply adore your energy, but avoid your emotions. Yeah, it's freezing cold. And that's why when you feel this shift, right? When life starts to get real, it's not that you're being too much. It's that they were never prepared to handle you in full. They only signed up for the good parts, the healed parts, the confident parts, the vibrant, magnetic, spiritually grounded parts. But the moment that you need softness and care and patience and effort, they treat you like you're a burden instead of a blessing. The moment you stop pouring, they stop showing up. And so I need you guys to hear this with me without guilt. It is not your responsibility to maintain relationships that can't meet you at your depth. Friendships that can't handle your humanity aren't friendships, they're fan clubs. People who applaud your strength but vanish during the struggle, that's not community, they are consumers. And the connections that only activate when you're on, oh, that's not love, that's convenience. The people meant for you, the ones aligned with your growth, not just your glow, they're going to show up for every single version of you. They will wipe away your tears just as quickly as they took shots with you. They'll sit with you in silence just as comfortably as they laughed with you in the joy. They'll text you when your energy feels different, not just when your stories look lit. You know what I mean? They won't just admire your light. They'll help you find it again when it starts to flicker. So if you're noticing that certain friendships fade away when things get too heavy, my advice would be don't chase them. Don't beg them for consistency that you didn't receive. Don't water relationships that have never poured back to you. Because the truth is simple. Your healing is revealing who's aligned with your heart and who was only aligned with your happiness. And the real ones, the ones that are built for the long haul, they'll walk with you. Not just beside you on the sunny days, but behind you, beside you, and in front of you when life starts to get dark. You deserve friendships that feel like home, not a hotel that people check in and out of, right? Not people who just show up when it's convenient or when it's benefiting them. And y'all know me and how I feel about boundaries, right? I need for you to understand that your boundaries are not customer complaints. All right, so let's get this straight. Your boundaries are not a bad behavior. They're not an attitude. They're not disrespect. They're not you switching up. They are simply you deciding not to run yourself into the ground for people who never even slow down for you. A real friend will adjust to the boundaries that you set. They may not love it, right? They may need a moment, but they will respect it because healthy people understand limits. Healthy people listen when you say, I can't today. Healthy people don't punish you for choosing yourself. Oh, but a customer service type of friend, oh, the moment that you start, the moment that you stop over functioning, they start overreacting, right? Suddenly, your customer service friends want to tell you that you distant. What's up, Sherelle? Right? Suddenly you distant, you acting funny, or, they don't know what's going on with you. But nah, what's going on is that you stop giving them the version of you that neglected herself to accommodate them. And they feel the loss of access, not the loss of your love. Yes, girl. That's what we all about. So again, I just want to remind you that boundaries reveal everything. I promise you, you setting boundaries is going to reveal to you who's here for you, who's here for what you supply, who grows with you, who guilt trips you, who adjusts, who throws a tantrum. And again, you setting boundaries, you're not mean, right? It's not because you're mean. It's just simply them being unaccustomed to you having needs. But if someone falls apart because you stop letting them drain you, their love was never love. It was simply dependence. And you are no longer someone's emotional power source. So your boundaries are not complaints. They are clarity. They are care. They are your way of saying that I am honoring myself enough to protect what keeps me whole. And anyone who can't handle that, they were never your friend. They were just a customer with expectations that you are no longer willing to meet. Until you have to brace yourself for the loneliness that comes with growing up, right? Healing is going to come with a quiet season. I can't say this enough. And it's not because that you are pushing people away. It's because you finally have stopped abandoning yourself to keep people, or to keep the wrong people close. There's a moment in your growth where life just gets silent. Not empty, just quiet. Right? The group chat slows down. Those invitations become fewer and fewer. The people who used to need you suddenly don't. And you start wondering if you messed up somewhere. Right? But you didn't mess up. Right? You didn't mess up. You leveled up. What's up, Keith? Welcome in, bruh. It's like all the people that you poured into, when you stop pouring and you need someone to pour into you, they're gone. They're gone. And, most of what feels like losing people is really just losing the version of you that tolerated things that you shouldn't have tolerated in the first place. Right? You're not growing apart. You're growing up. Yes. You're making room for the actual connections that feed you. You're growing into clarity, into boundaries, into worthiness, into self-respect. And everybody can't breathe at that altitude. Some people are simply not ready. Some people were only comfortable with you when you were struggling. Some people were only attracted to you because you made them feel needed. Some people were only close because you didn't require reciprocity at the time. And some were only friends because the old you didn't know how to say no. But once you started healing, once you start choosing peace over drama, clarity over confusion, and stillness over chaos, oh, their spirit can't sit with yours the same way it used to. And that's okay, because this quiet season isn't a punishment, it's your preparation. It's God, your ancestors, your spirit, your intuition, all whispering, make room for who's meant to come next. It is getting you to clean up your space, because real alignment doesn't come with crowds, right? Elevation rarely comes with applause. And becoming who you were called to be will sometimes require you standing alone for a little while. But again, I need you to hear me when I say isolation and healing is temporary. But the peace that you gain from it is permanent. So understand that you're not losing people, you're losing patterns. You're not being abandoned, you are being refined. And you're not alone. You're just in between that sacred space where old friendships fall away and healthier ones have yet to arrive. What we say, we in between our blessings. This is not a season of emptiness. It's a season of clearing, right? And clearing always comes before becoming. So if things feel quieter, softer, smaller, it's not a red flag. That's simply confirmation that your spirit is shifting into a place where only the aligned can follow you. You're not in the wrong chapter. You're in the right transformation. So I want you to really feel what I'm about to say in your chest, not just your ears. Like, I want you guys to take this into your whole heart today. Friendship should not feel like a chore. If every interaction feels like effort, like emotional heavy lifting, like you're dragging someone's grown spirit across the finish line, that's not a bond, it's a burden. Friendship is supposed to lift you, not leave you drained. Friendship should not feel like emotional customer service. You are not the help desk. You are not the emotional complaint line. You are not the fix me hotline for people who refuse to fix themselves. Anybody who treats you like service instead of a soul is already telling you what they think of your worth. So believe them, then leave them. Friendship should not drain your spirit or deplete your peace. You should not need recovery time after dealing with someone who claims to love you. You should not feel anxious before calling them, exhausted after texting them, or guilty for needing space from them. Your friendships are not supposed to pull the life out of you. They're supposed to breathe life into you. So I want you to hear me clearly when I say you are allowed to choose relationships that choose you back. You don't have to beg for effort. You don't have to chase love. You don't have to earn loyalty. You don't have to audition for support. Real friends show up. Real friends reciprocate. Real friends pour back into the same cup that they drink from. So, in this season, you are allowed to require reciprocity. That's not selfish, that's healthy. Expecting mutual effort is not about being too much. Needing emotional safety is not about being sensitive. And protecting your peace is not about being difficult. You are simply honoring the parts of you that used to settle for imbalance. You were allowed to outgrow connections that only grew when you were tending the soil. Some of the people that you've loved the most only thrive because you watered them while you wilted. Some of the friendships only survived because you were the one doing the emotional maintenance. And some of those bonds only look strong because you were the glue holding the pieces together. And so now that you stopped carrying everything, those friendships are falling apart. Not because you failed, but because you finally stepped back and saw it for what it was. It was never mutual. It was never equal. It was never shared. And that's okay. Growth is supposed to change the circle. Healing is supposed to change your standards. Elevation is supposed to change your environment. Your soul is supposed to outgrow certain spaces. That is the whole part of becoming. So today, give yourself permission to let go of what drains you and make room for what aligns with you. To walk away from roles that you never signed up for. To disconnect emotional service that you never agreed to provide. To close doors that keep you small and open a window that reminds you to breathe. You deserve friendships that feel like rest, that feels like home, that feels like peace, that feels like mutual love, mutual effort, mutual respect. Now, before we part ways, let me leave you all with a little love and light. As always, I encourage you to keep breathing through the highs, the lows, and every moment in between. I want you to keep choosing peace, even if it feels just out of reach. And know that here at the Self Care Club, you will always be seen, always valued, and always supported. So don't be afraid to take up space, speak your truth, and make a little room for you to breathe. I love each and every one of you to life. And I am praying that your day today is not just amazing, but aligned, intentional, and yes, on purpose, filled with purpose. Remember, for those of you who want to hang out for the after party, head over to TikTok at Room to Breathe Project and join us. For everyone else, I will see you tomorrow. This has been another Room to Breathe podcast, and I cannot wait to connect with you all again soon. Thank you.